Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly Soul Revival for the week of June 23rd. Now, this is being recorded and posted on Sunday, June 22nd, because I found out that my Wi-Fi is going to be shut down on Monday, so that's why you'll be getting in a little early this week. So, let's dive right in. As always, this is your weekly intuitive energy reading for the week ahead, as well as sacred guidance to support the revival of your authentic self. And so before getting on this call, already grounded, already asking for a source to help this message find whoever it is meant to find in the divine timing they're meant to find it in. And we will start with your energy check-in. Okay, so we'll see how you're doing this week, what emotional themes might be coming up for you this week. Let's see what's going on with your energy. All right, show me the viewer's energy for this week. Please and thank you. I heard don't stop believing in my head right now. And before I got on, I was feeling a call for patience. And okay. Oh, okay. Give me a moment. Okay. So, as I said, before the call, I was hearing patience. And of course, we have the hangman came out. So yes, there might be a little bit of a sacred pause you're going through this week. And an interesting energy too, because you also got the magician that came out here. And so with these two major arcana coming out, there's definitely this is I want to say the word that's coming to me is like a major soul checkpoint. I don't want to say a lesson or anything like that. It just feels like this is like a sacred checkpoint from where you're going in your life, your soul's path. There is some kind of sacred checkpoint in this space, in this container of this week. And part of that is asking for you to take a little bit of a pause, finding some stillness this week, trying to let go a little bit, which is gonna be a little bit challenging because you also have this magician energy that's very ripe here as well, where this is very you're ready to take initiative, you want to create, you have the power, you have the resources, you're like, I've got the inner power, I can do this. So that coming together with the hangman here is kind of like this tug pull of it definitely gives that feel of knowing when to move when called, but also knowing when to rest when called, and kind of listening to that sacred rhythm within your being. And so the one that wanted to come out first, though, is definitely the hangman. So this week, your energy might be feeling a little bit slower, a need for stillness, a need for pause. And you're going to gain some kind of clarity or insight or new perspective from taking that pause that is going to lend itself to this magician energy that you are so ready to act on. But there needs to be some kind of perspective or clarity that you're going to gain from this pause or this time out. And it may have something to do with the way your mindset puts a cap on you in a lot of ways. The Eight of Swords is a card of self-imposed limitations, a little bit of the victim consciousness, where it's like you don't realize that you are kind of holding yourself back just from your mindset, just from your thoughts, the way you're thinking about things. Hence you need a timeout for some stillness to gain a different perspective. a perspective that doesn't include kind of caging yourself from your old core beliefs. This might be a time where you might deconstruct some of those core beliefs or where you even learn them from. And it might have to do with some inner child work. Oh, definitely some inner child work with the sun underneath that as well. So, like this week, this sacred pause, there might be a call to go inward. And in that space, you may be revisiting some nostalgic themes, some childhood themes. For me, this Six of Cups always represents like inner child work, and something to be gained from that space, from revisiting that time. And that definitely feels true as well with the sun here as well underneath that, but it did come out reversed. And this is also, again, a very inner child card. So much freedom and vitality and joy comes from this card. And it feels like this might be the missing element, actually. When you are so ready to move forward with this magician energy, and we're getting this sacred pause and to go inward and gain a different perspective, it does feel like your inner child is kind of the piece that's missing, right? Because a lot of times, like these self-imposed limitations do stem from conditioned beliefs from childhood, whether it was a story that we told ourselves as a child, whether it was beliefs that were projected or instilled in us from our caregivers or the people around us. Sometimes we kind of adopt the limiting beliefs of our caregivers because they're who teaches us how to be an adult, you know? So yeah, it just feels like, you know, see this like, and it did come out this way, right? See this, like how the illumination right there, it just reminds me of the sun card, right? Like there is this illuminating aspect of what you're going to come back into contact with in this sacred pause this week. And it feels like you are kind of liberating your inner child so that it can be the one that kind of helps propel whatever it is that you're creating from this place, all these resources, all this inner potential that you know you're ready to utilize and expand on. But it just may, the missing ingredient here, right? Because you know how the magician has like all the elements, right? It's got the pentacle, it's got the sword, it's got the wands, it's got the cup, right? It's got it all, right? And ironically, I think the only missing element here is the inner child sense of joy and freedom and limitlessness and fearlessness and the things that essentially just meeting where your inner child is afraid, where your inner child feels like it's not good enough, where your inner child may feel like it self-sabotages in a way with your untapped potential, with the things that you can create and cultivate and put out there in the world. It's like this sacred pause is asking for you to meet that inner child and where they still hold themselves back, and helping them come back into this sense of vitality and pure joy and just freedom of expression. And that will lend itself to whatever it is that you're creating and putting out in the world. Okay. I love that. I love a good inner child week. I love inner child work. Yeah, it just feels so sweet. Oh, okay. Let's get into the sacred guidance. Sacred rebel guidance for you to lead your life from a unique and authentic place. Let's shuffle these up a bit. So yeah, I don't know, back to that don't stop believing is coming back. Yeah, and it kind of feels like, okay, yeah, it just feels like that was coming into just tying that back in of your inner child. Like the Eight of Swords is kind of that putting a lid on you where you might stop believing in yourself. Literally, like those thoughts that hold you captive and stop you from moving, or stopping from seeing your power, stop you from seeing your potential. That call is really like, don't stop believing. Don't stop believing in yourself. Okay, now let's get into the Sacred Rebel Guidance Source. Please show me the Sacred Rebel Guidance for the viewer this week. Please and thank you. Never hurts to have that in there. Okay, let's see. Okay, we got the perfection of your life. Right now, the message that wants to come through with that is you're right where you're supposed to be. You might feel with this sacred pause and that push-pull feeling of wanting to get started, all this potential that you're ready to create, and that motivation to utilize all that already, right? But you're being kind of called to pull back a little bit this week and pause and go inward and sit with yourself and meet some parts of yourself more emotionally this week. You might feel that feeling of I'm behind, or I should be over here already, or if I pause, kind of that scarcity of like, oh no, if I pause or take too much time out, like I'm setting myself behind. It just feels like it is all unfolding in perfect timing. What is meant for you is not going to miss you. This is the perfect path for you, that it all unfolds as it should. And how could you meet yourself and your path and your calling, whatever it is that you are so ready to put forth all your energy into? How could you meet yourself and your path and your venture from the place of I am right where I'm supposed to be? That none of this is pulling me backwards, none of this is delaying anything. It is all unfolding as it should in perfect timing. Because when we are able to meet every moment that way, we're meeting it with acceptance. We're not resisting the current moment. We're not resisting the current stage we're in, the phase we're in, and then now causing some inner tension that we have to sift through. When you can just accept that this moment is and is perfect as it is, and there's something here for me in it, I accept it. There is no resistance to it. It can be moved through so much easier. And, it's funny that, when I was tuning into the energy of this week, and all I kind of got was patience. And something that's coming to me now too is, I don't know if anybody watches Bashar, the being that I believe his name's Daryl, channels. You'll see him a lot on TikTok. It was funny. I watched a video last night, and it's coming up for this reason, so maybe you need to hear it, where somebody asked, like, how do I exercise more patience? I think specifically the question was, how do I exercise more patience with other human beings? But I think this advice that came through was so important for anybody, but especially in what we're talking about right now, which is impatience is just suggesting that, or how did they say it? They said it as impatience is a lack of, it's being impatient with what's ever in front of you. Okay, I'm not explaining this very well. Essentially, when you're patient, you're just accepting the moment as it is. You're not impatient. Did you see that? That was interesting. I don't know if that came on the recording. My screen glitched. That was interesting. Interesting. Okay. And I don't know if you saw that because it looked like I was in two different places. And so that's kind of like really feeding into this message too, is that when you're impatient to be somewhere else, essentially. Okay. So when you're exercising patience, you're really just accepting the present moment. You know that there's something in front of you. There's something valuable in being present in this moment. There's always something valuable in every present moment. And when we're patient, it's really just accepting that this moment. We're not impatient to be anywhere else, to be further along, to be out of this moment. So it kind of feels like that is the sacred guidance for you this week, is like, can you find the sacredness in this present moment and know that it is right where you need to be? And that if you're struggling with any impatience with this sacred pause, we're just showing that we're impatient with what's available for us in the present moment, and we're impatient with the perfect unfolding path. And so can we meet ourselves with patience? Can we meet our life in the unfolding path with patience, knowing that if we just accept this moment, it is all where it is meant to be? We're not missing anything. There's something for us here in this moment. And, also just kind of sprinkling in some of the existential perspective too. It's like, do we really want to rush through this moment? Think of that movie Click, right? Where you fast forwards through the driving in traffic or a nagging conversation or whatever it is. Do you want to fast forward through your life? Or do we want to be so present for every moment of this life because it goes by so fast already? That, yeah, there might be something that you're wanting to create, and there's something that you want to achieve, or there's something that you want to, call into your life, all these things. My screen did it again. I don't know what that is. But when we just want to fast forward there, or already be impatient because we want to be there already, we're kind of missing our life. We're missing the process. We're missing the journey. Right? Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans, right? Like, there's something available for you in the slowness, in the stillness, in the sacred pause, in the present moment. And honestly, that's kind of what kid energy is all about. When kids are, again, before they're disturbed by trauma and family dynamics and societal conditioning and pressures, when kids are in their most pure state, they're perpetually in the present moment. They're just meeting every moment with wonder and awe and deep presence and curiosity. And it feels like that's, right, as we said, the missing piece that's coming back online is that inner child state. And so part of that is just meeting the present with full acceptance. I do feel called to read from the guidebook this time. So let's take a look at the message here. Have you ever seen a storm pictured from above? It can appear to be so beautiful and elegant. This is certainly different to the ground view, which can be quite a violent experience. So too, there is great beauty in your life now. However, at this point in the natural process, you may be experiencing it as anxiety-inducing rather than beautiful. You may sense it as internal chaos. You may feel it as something that is waiting to erupt from within, as a restlessness or an anxiety that you cannot quite articulate but sense vaguely nonetheless. Perhaps the chaos is fully fledged and a person or situation in your life is causing all kinds of havoc, upheaval, or change and uncertainty in your world. Whether the chaos seems subtle, strong, internal, or external, this oracle brings the same message for you. All is unfolding according to a perfect higher order. You are currently enduring a cosmic spiritual storm which is having an impact on you. It is clearing things out, ruffling feathers, and preparing you for that lovely, super fresh, uplifting feeling that one experiences after the storm has finally passed. If you have drawn the oracle, which we haven't, we're going to skip that. Okay. If you cannot believe there is anything happening, even at a subtle level, because you feel stuck, denied, bored, thwarted, or stale, this oracle brings you a message also. No matter what appears to be, in truth, there is only the unfolding creative genius of the universe. You are not forgotten. You have not been overlooked. You have not been looked over. You have not been denied, found wanting, or rejected as unworthy. The storm that needs to erupt is in your own heart. Do your liberating rain dance, rage, weep, pray, dance, paint, or sing. Express whatever is needed, however it is needed, to exercise the blocked energy in your heart. Then you will call on the powerful perfection of your life path as it aligns for the next creative turn of the spiral of life. Once again, you will trust and directly experience the flower of life unfolding within you and around you. Yes. Exactly. It's just trust 2121. Just trusting the unfolding that's happening within you, on your path, in your life, all around you. And yeah, sometimes we're in the thick of it and we can't see that if we zoomed out and got a different perspective, hangman, that there's something really beautiful about that storm and its clearing properties and what it's doing, right? And that may be why this pause and this inner time to go inward and sit with yourself is so important. Is that that restless energy, that impatient energy to be somewhere else, that vague sense of anxiety, that inner storm that you may not even recognize as an inner storm is calling for you to clear it out, right? And part of that is the rage, the weep, the pray, the dance, paint, sing, express, right? That is sometimes how we move through those self-limiting beliefs or the fear that our inner child is holding, not thinking that they're good enough. I mean, that blocked energy is oftentimes, as it said, it's blocked energy in the heart. And the heart is where the inner child lives. It's where our emotional body lives. And it's also where, when we talk about the chakra system as well, right? We have our lower 3 chakras in our physical realm, or really our human body, right? And we have our upper 3 chakras as well, which is more of our spiritual body, right? But where they meet in the middle is your heart, and the heart chakra. That is where the spiritual and the human meet together. And our inner child lives there. That's why inner child work is so deeply spiritual. It's beautiful work. And so, yeah, the guidance this week is just to don't stop believing in yourself. Take that sacred pause for yourself. Go inward. Find that time to clear out any blocked energy that's resting in your heart, anything that your inner child is holding because it's holding themselves back from being able to fulfill your dreams and cultivate the venture that you're building. It is blocking the belief in yourself. It's blocking your ability to let your inner child be part of the energy that is the creative force behind what you're wanting to put forth in the world. It's clearing out the wounds that are self-sabotaging and making you think that you are unable to do what it is that you want to do. And honestly, clearing out that energy that's blocked in your heart and reconnecting with that inner child piece is going to help you build from a place of deep joy and deep presence. Okay, beautifuls. Anything else? Nope. That's the message this week. Well, I wish you a beautiful, sacred pause this week and connecting deeper with yourself. And I will see you next week. Take care.